Good morning. It's Tuesday, and today we're going to work on now subtraction. We're going to subtract multi-digit whole numbers. We're going to use some of what we did yesterday with our base 10 blocks, expanded notation, and our standard algorithm. We're going to work up to the thousands place today. All right, let's go and get started with not saying the number. I want you to say the number as I'm writing it, if you would, please. I actually realized I wrote this really large and I need to make some space. So I'm going to rewrite it and shift it over to the left, making it not so large. I'm hoping I'm writing the same number. All right, this number reads 3,452 minus 1,361. All right, so we're going to set up to do both standard algorithm and, expanded notation like we did yesterday. All right, so looking at our top number, 3,452, if you can say that number, you can write it expanded form and you can write it in word form. So 3 is in that thousands place. 3 represents 3,000. Okay, we're still adding all of this up, even though it's a subtraction problem. I don't want that to confuse you, because when we're using expanded notation, we are adding the numbers in that number by place value. Okay, so 3,000 plus next number in which place value? 400 plus which number in place value? 5 in the tens place, which represents 50. And lastly, 2 in the ones place represents 2. All right, I'm going to do the same thing for that bottom set. 1,361. 1 represents how many thousands? 1,000. 3 represents how many hundreds? 3 hundreds. 6 in the tens place? 60. Ones place? 1. All right, so just a quick review of what that visual, that base 10 looks like. We have our small cube that I'm just kind of dotting, not so much a cube, but you know what that cube looks like. All right, we have that cube, and 10 cubes would give us 1 rod, because 10 of these cubes would fit into 1 rod. And 10 of these rods would give us what you call a flat. Okay, just reviewing what that visual looks like for us. And if I had a number of 12, I would have 2 small cubes and 1 rod, because this represents a number of 10 plus 2. That gives us 12. What number would this give us? Remember that flat is equivalent to 10 rods, and in 1 rod is 10 small cubes. So this equals 100, 10, now 2. So that would be 112. 112. All right. All right, we're going to go ahead and start left to right, because that's kind of how it's set up here. All right, so when we're working on subtraction, again, starting with our ones place always, you have to ask yourself, can I take 1 away from 2? Can I take 1 away from this? Yes. What is 2 minus 1? 1. Next question, can I take 6 away from 5? No, I can't. So I have to go next door and borrow some more. That means I'm going to have to regroup, take some of those hundreds and borrow it into my tens place. All right, but I only need to borrow 1 at a time. So This 4 becomes a 3, going from 400 to 300. And now I'm taking what? That 10 plus 5, just 15. Because in one flat, you have 10 rods. 10 rods plus the 5 that we already had. Okay, 15 minus 6 is 9. Can we take 3 away from 3? Yes, which is 0. Can I take 1 away from 3? Yes. 3 minus 1 is 2. And I know some of you are already catching on to me. Don't forget that comma. Thank you very much. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and use the same information. Actually, pretending we didn't even do this. We're going to use our expanded notation to do the same thing to subtract. And we're going to do it the same way. We're just breaking it down by place value. All right. So can we take, again, if we're taking a look at the addition signs, I don't want that to confuse you. So just maybe this is helpful. Just strike a line through it. That's a little crooked. Just strike a line through it so that you know that you're adding, but we're not adding here because the operation is to subtract, okay? We're just adding to come up with our expanded notation, okay? So now we're still subtracting. 2 minus 1, can we do it? Yes, 2 minus 1 is 1. All right, and we already reviewed that we can't take 6 away from 5, so we definitely can't take 60 away from 50. So we have to go and regroup. So this 400 is going to become 300 because I'm taking that one group of 100, okay, and adding it here. Because I have that one group of 100, I have that flat. Envision a flat. I know it's not super squarish, but here's my flat for my 100 here in my hundreds place. Borrowed 1 from 400 because I can. So that becomes 300. So 100 here plus 50, what I have would give us 150. Yeah. Okay, now can I subtract? Yes. 150 minus 60, or if that's a little tough, it's a large number, I know. The zeros on the end, there's only 1 for each of those numbers, so it works, and it's the end. Okay, so 15 minus 6 is 9. Okay, 150 minus 60 is 90. Can I subtract 300 minus 300? Yes. Putting that 0 in there. 3,000 minus 1,000. 2,000. All right. All you're doing now with this expanded notation is, if we were to add these up, just add them up. So that would give you 2,000. 0 in our hundreds place. 90, which equals or represents 9 tens. 1, 1. 2,091. All right, remember, just like with any kind of operation, you need to check your work. So what's nice about subtraction is that you can actually do addition and subtraction in a subtraction problem to check your work. All right, so let's go ahead and just check using our expanded notation. Same thing, we're gonna take that bottom set and our answer, add them up, and it has to come up with a very topmost answer. 1 plus 1 is 2. Sure. 90 plus 60 is 150. True. 0 plus 300 is 300. True. 2,000 plus 1,000 is 3,000. True. And as long as all those statements are true, then your answer is correct. Okay, doing the same thing here, add these two to get your topmost number, to get your very top number, and if that works, then your answer is correct and complete, okay? All right, so just making sure that when you're working on the subtraction problem up to the thousands place today, that you have multiple ways to get your answer, to check your answer, and to continue even when it gets a little bit tough, okay? So with subtraction, just making sure that you have multiple ways to pause, go through your work, going through your base 10 blocks, draw them out if you need to, use the expanded notation, but ultimately standard algorithm it all comes back to that. It all comes back to this number, okay? So whether you're using the picture, the notation, the answer is 2091. Okay? All roads lead to this. Again, please make sure you're checking your work. I'm going to go ahead and write down your 2 assignment problems, but also it will be available on Canvas. Please make sure you're working on those 2 problems, checking your work, and turn it in. Don't be greedy and hold on to it. You got to share it with your teachers. All right. Not saying the problem. You need to say it as I write it, please. Today was subtraction, so these 2 are going to be subtraction problems. How does this read? 7,253 minus 1,334. Did you guys get that correct? If you did, go ahead and reach over, give yourself a nice little pat on the back. If you didn't, don't worry, keep practicing, you'll get there. All right, this is problem number 1. Problem number 2 is going to be on the bottom because it's written horizontally. Again, not reading it. I want you to try to sound it out and say it before I do. All right, what is this problem? 9,041 minus 6,525. All right, so your assignment today is to work on these 2 problems. Check your work. Use any strategy that you prefer, standard algorithm, draw it out visually using your base 10 blocks or using the expanded notation, or want that challenge, go ahead and show me using more than one way. Okay? Just a quick, while it's at the end of the video, can anybody tell me what the difference or maybe what this problem is an example of? Number 2 is an example of what kind of problem? I'm going to leave that there. And if you've watched this video, if you watch the video and you answer your problems, if you can tell me what kind of problem number 2 is, and don't say subtraction, that's not the answer I'm looking for. Number 2 is an example of, and you're going to write that with a star. I'll give you a cool gold star point for that. Just a reminder, we should all be very aware, maybe just not sure which answer I'm looking for, but 9,041 minus 6,525. That is an example of, and you're going to write that word here. Make sure you're turning in your work. Ask questions if you need to. Do your best. Don't get frustrated. Stop, pause, go back and try again. Okay? If you have questions again, ask. And have fun. Math is fun. Make it fun, keep it fun, and do your best. Just try. All right, guys. I miss you. Watch the video as many times as you need to. This is your assignment. These 2 plus star attempt. Do your best and turn it in. Okay? Again, ask questions if you need to. And have a good one.